Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today for Unleashing the Power of ChatGPT. Today, we are talking about how landscape contractors can save time and money right now by leveraging this amazing technology. My name is Corey Halstead. Pleasure to meet you virtually for those of you that I have not met. As co-owner of Halstead Media and recent founder of a company called Planting Acorns, which I'm super pumped about. I get to have great conversations with landscape contractors of all revenue sizes across the country and manufacturers and dealers sort of day in and day out. So I've been excited to learn how landscape contractors are starting to use ChatGPT. But in preparation for this brand new talk, I wanted to go even a step further and do some polling and get some heartbeat stuff, if you will, right? So I went out and I said, are landscape contractors using ChatGPT? What we got back was interesting. Yes, I'm using it to write emails to help me sound basically like I'm using it to make me sound more polished, more intelligent in the written form, right? Some people said I'm using it to help me create sort of basic images. So happy holidays posts for social, things like that. We quickly learn, for those of you who have gotten your hand dirty, that ChatGPT is an amazing editor. Again, helping us sound smarter, get our message across faster and at a higher quality. Some said we're using it for content outlines, which I thought was interesting. So if we're producing maybe a sales letter for a commercial sales effort or something like that. Some even said, hey, I'm using it as my business strategy guide, if you will, right? Which, hey, GPT is certainly an MBA and then some. So why not, as long as we're careful to make sure we digest the information and check it, right? But some interesting stuff. For today's talk, and really how I have always approached technology and new sort of shiny new tools, is we have to get to the part where it's really actionable for our businesses. And we know that GPT and AI can do a whole crap ton of stuff, right? It is incredibly powerful and is revolutionizing business workflows already. But we also know that most of that stuff isn't going to apply to what we need in our landscaping businesses day in and day out, the valuable stuff for us. So our job and my job with today's talk is to find that sweet spot. And if we look at what those challenges are, they're usually pretty consistent across landscape contractors, depending on the growth stage that they're in. Usually number one or two is right up at the top is a pipeline. So how do I drive high quality, consistent leads all the time for my business that are really aligned to where I want to steer this thing to? Managing social media effectively, right? Adapting to tech trends. So maybe it's a tool like this, or an operational software tool or financial tool, something like that. 3D design stuff. Attracting, training, and retaining employees is usually number two on the list if we were going in order. Sales process development and enhancements, streamlining customer service, the whole kind of financial picture, right? Managing the cash flows and profitability of our businesses. And of course, too much to do and not enough time. So those are our challenges, and today's talk is built exactly around addressing those and how ChatGPT can get in there, get its hand dirty, and start driving actual results for your businesses. So let's start with a couple of key fundamentals. What the heck is ChatGPT anyway? It's artificial intelligence. It's a specific tool that specializes in understanding text, right? So it can generate text, it can receive text and process it, right? It can do Q&As, it can summarize it. And basically, if you've heard this term, it's a language model. So ChatGPT is words, right? It's text focused, and it can really get a lot of context around that text. Well, fantastic. Why should you care as the owner of a landscape contracting business? Well, really all small businesses are seeing this, but it can automate repeatable tasks, which basically saves time and money, right? It can provide quick and pretty darn high quality customer service so that we can be doing more things or other things on our business while our customer service new team, which we're going to look at today, is doing its job. It can boost efficiency and professionalism. Not often is it that a piece of technology can save us time and money, but also increase the quality of the output, right? So it make us more professional, make the quality better. I believe, and I've seen, and I think we can prove today that ChatGPT can do both of those simultaneously, which is quite unique. And then, of course, all of that stuff frees up our staff to do things that are more impactful for growing our businesses or operating our businesses. So remember those challenges, those set of challenges that are consistent across the landscape contracting industry. That is what we're talking about today, sort of those disciplines or those departments in our businesses: marketing, sales, operations, customer service, and recruiting and training. Those are the things that we are going to look at, how ChatGPT can make an impact today. Okay. Garbage in, garbage out. Before we can start to leverage ChatGPT in our businesses to drive return in all those departments, we have to understand what a prompt is. Basically, how do we engage with ChatGPT, right? So a prompt is basically a set of instructions that we're inputting into ChatGPT, and we're hoping to get a specific reaction or product back out, right? No different than if we're having a conversation with one of our team members. Maybe our office manager, we want to have send a communication to an existing client, right? So we're going to say, hey, can you write this email that does this and that and then this? That is a prompt. So where do you do it? So this is our first shot in today's talk of what the ChatGPT interface looks like. So when you log on, this is what you will see. Okay, down here on the bottom, message ChatGPT, that is where we craft our prompts. That's where it happens. Okay, so let's look at an example of a prompt. Maybe I type in, and I did. By the way, everything that you see in this presentation is actual just screenshots from my interactions with ChatGPT or my teams. And it captured everything, including my horrific spelling and typing, which luckily ChatGPT does a good job of understanding. But I know they're in there, and I wanted to keep it authentic. So how many inches of base material should I use under a paper patio? Okay, that's an example of a prompt, right? I'm inputting something into ChatGPT. Okay, so we've seen a prompt. Now let's look at a guideline set, if you will, for how to be more effective or efficient with our prompts. We want to be very clear and detailed. Again, no different than when we are talking to our team, right? For those of you that have grown your team, again, depending on the growth cycle that you're in with your company, as you get more team members, this becomes even more important, right, in our leadership roles. So be clear and detailed. Set the scene. Just because I'm asking one of my team members to do a very specific task, think about what else might be helpful for them to know, right? And set that scene with some more details. Tell ChatGPT what we want, just as if we were communicating with a team member. Hey, I want you to give me this back, right? I want you to send this email. I want you to do this task. Be very specific about what we want. So this is very important about how we do effective prompts, and garbage in, garbage out is 100% true. So many people in the industry right now, we're in this like entry period right now in the landscape industry where people are logging on, they're asking it something, not giving it enough information, and then it spits something rather unremarkable back out. They close their computer and say ChatGPT doesn't work. It's those who don't do that that are going to have a landslide for the next 3 or so years. Many of you have seen, if you've done this searching, like, how do I do a prompt? How do I get good quality stuff? You'll see a lot of prompt sheets out there that you can like download. Great. If that helps you get going, fantastic. But what I suggest as sort of a little footnote is start a Google Sheet or a Google Doc or whatever, and share it with your team who is using ChatGPT, and build your own prompt sheet list that you find to give good examples or good results back out of. Let's take a look again at those prompts. So we already saw the first one. How many inches of base material should I use under a paver? Let's contrast that with one after our refinement, right? So how many inches of base material should I use under my paver patio? I am installing this patio in Scarsdale, New York. So I gave a location, geographical location. My soil is a loam and silty loam. We know that as landscape contractors, right? What is important when we're deciding how much base material? Share that. The patio will only be used for pedestrian use. So basically I'm saying there's no funny business where, it's bordering a driveway and I might get some car action on there or something. Okay, so these are they're both prompts, but the one on the bottom is a much more effective prompt. We were detailed, we set the scene. Okay, so that's prompt writing. Hand in hand with our garbage in, garbage out methodology here, or thought process, is fine tuning. So the process of fine tuning is how we help GPT give us better information, right? So that could be at a specific task just within one chat, or we could be fine tuning it to increase ChatGPT's knowledge of an overall subject, perhaps landscape design. It's going to give us more accurate, effective answers, right? Better, more usable, actionable stuff. So what does that look like? How do we fine tune? Okay, so we type in our original prompt, which we've seen. So we type it in. Okay, it gives us back an answer. Maybe it says you should use 4 inches of base material. Johnny, okay. Now I say, oh, but wait, let me give you the information about where I'm located, my soil type, right? I'm giving more information. And then ChatGPT comes back and says, okay, you know what? You better go with 8 inches because of X, Y, and Z. And you notice the last 2 steps of our fine-tuning process goes around and around and around. Because just like when you're communicating with your team, you have to continue to give more information, more coaching, right? To make sure that we're improving our quality of work, and in this case, our quality of output from GPT. So let's look at an example. Please prepare a list of 10 plants for a perennial garden, I said. Certainly, here's a list of 10 perennial plants that make a beautiful addition. So ChatGPT came back with some cone flowers, came back with some sedums, came back with some salvia, all those goodies, right? Okay, looks fantastic. And then I say, oh, geez, I should have told you that I'm located in Jacksonville, Florida. Game changer, right? Well, then ChatGPT, Chatty, let's call her, says, oh, well, that's different. Here's another list that's based on that. Some Mexican petunias, some fire bushes, and coreopsises, and all of those goodies. Okay, so that is an example, a simple one, but a good one of what fine tuning looks like. And I can continue to do that, right? I could go back and say, okay, well, I don't like, please don't include firebush in this list for whatever reason. And then I come back and I can continue to get what I need. The trap of GPT is thinking that you are going to get amazing, easy hacks of information without putting a little bit of work in. And most of us know as entrepreneurs that is never as it seems. So we have to learn how to use the tool. ChatGPT in action. Now we dive in. We've got our foundation set. We know what it is. We know the basic ways that we interact to get quality stuff out of ChatGPT. Fantastic. Now we're going to dive in. So 1, customer service. We are going to show you right now how to build an AI-powered chatbot. Okay, this thing is going to live on your website. It can also live on your social media channels. Okay, it's going to streamline customer support and service like really, really, really well. It's going to answer FAQs, so common questions that customers ask all of the time, along with some detailed ones. And it's going to be doing that 24/7, 7 days a week for us, as any good AI chatbot should do. I promise you, this is not like the old school chatbots. And for those of you who have them on your site now, you're forward thinkers, it is not like that. As an example of me not kind of jumping onto every technological advancement, I think the old school chatbots suck, right? You had to train them in very linear fashions. They didn't know the answers to most things, and they did not provide a good customer experience, in my opinion, worth implementing them at scale. But these ones absolutely do, right? So the early data is already in, north of 80% are being handled well, freeing up staff to do other things. I really, really like these chatbots where I didn't before. So let's set up your AI-powered chatbot. We're going to use a tool for this called chatbase.co. Here's what that interface looks like. And you say, whoa, wait a second. I'm in a ChatGPT talk about how it can revolutionize my business. Why are we talking about chat-based? Okay, so just like I think the best example is probably financial stuff. So you have your bank. Let's say your business bank is Bank of America. In that example, that is our Chat GPT down here. Then we have QuickBooks that sits on the top of that, right? And that's the equivalent of our chatbase.co in this example. And then maybe we have our Element or Aspire that sits on the top of even that. That could be our website in this example. So tools often interact with each other back and forth. That's normal stuff within technology. And that is what we're talking about today. So chatbase.co. When we go to Chatbase, we get in there and it says, give me some data sources. Well, what the heck does that mean? Basically, we need to train ChatGPT or Chatbase, which is working hand in hand, on what information it's going to need to be successful as our new customer service employee, right? We're basically hiring a new employee for customer service. How exciting. So we need to add some files, like maybe PDF pricing, right? I used our company as an example for this one, so Halstead Media. So digital marketing agency specializing in the landscape industry for some context, right? So PDF pricing. So we have a pricing offering about how much our services cost. I uploaded that. Past proposals. I exported all proposals out and dumped them into this thing. Training documents for our team, right? Which is going to talk about our processes and how we think and our sort of ethos of our company and all of that, right? So I fed it all of that. Then I added our website. It's going to fetch all of the links. So basically it goes in and crawls the entire site, digests the information that is there. So we are training it, right? We are putting our chatbot through any training, just like you would a regular employee at your company. Okay, then we're going to also, we can have the option of adding some specific FAQs in there. So for example, I put in here maybe a little bit of a gray question, right? So if I want to be very specific about a sensitive answer, then I can still do that, just like we could before. I can give it exact question and answers as well. So that's still there. Okay, next, after we've kind of trained it initially, right? Then we're going to kind of customize how does it look. So we want to make sure that for this is when I turned the screen black. I added one of our brand colors for the other message. I added our H logo. So just know that this thing can also be on brand. And then we're going to embed it into our site. Where it usually lives down on the right-hand side once it's complete and you're happy with it, right? So it's a very easy embed. Know that that's also something that's going to happen quite easily now. After that, or during, we can also integrate it with our other tools. So again, depending on what growth stage of the company you're in, as you get larger with more team members and more revenue, there's more tools firing, right? Our marketing systems become more complex. There's just more going on with HR, all kinds of things. So we can use Zapier, which is an API integration tool, and we can hook this thing up to our CRM and things like that. So the capability is there to really integrate this new team member into our systems. So let's see it in action. So I called ours a digital assistant, right? So imagine this thing lives on our site. What can I help you with? The customer says, maybe one of a landscape contractor somewhere in the country. Tell me about how your services work. So we know that this one I had already kind of fed in as an example, right? So, hey, here's how our services work. We're a landscape marketing company. We specialize in companies with $3 million or more in revenue, blah, 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 right? To get started, you can book a 45-minute consultation with us. So look, on the right, I did not feed it that directly, right? So it's a combination. It's actually kind of thinking, right, if you will, about what's going on, which is completely different than the old chatbots. So let's schedule a Zoom call, it says. Fantastic, right? Okay, tell me about your website cost. Website costs start at $12,500, fully robust. Looks like it all jives, which is amazing. Keep in mind that costs vary. Hope this answers your question. Fantastic new customer service. And I didn't have to do that, right? So that's fantastic. Thank you, customer service employee. I'd like to schedule a consultation. Great. That's great to hear. Give me your information. It says your name, your business seal, your phone number. Whoa, that's not our process, first of all. And I didn't train you to do that. Okay, so what do I got to do? Sometimes I have to go in and fine tune it, right? Just like before, fine tuning is just like coaching an employee of any kind. So I'd like to schedule a consultation. I could have done this many different ways. I could have just went in and uploaded a document, perhaps, that said, here's our process for how it works. That would have worked. Or I can add a direct question. For this one, I think I'd like to schedule a consultation is it's a common enough phrase that I think it's helpful to be able to just do it exactly. So that's what I did. I outlined what I'd like it to do, chatty, when someone says that. Okay, direct them here, direct them to this link. That's great. Schedule a call here with halstonmedia.book a call, blah, blah, blah. Awesome. Okay, so that takes us directly in to actionable solution number 2, which is more on the office admin kind of side of the business, and that is scheduling. Okay, ChatGPT brought them to my link, right? Automatically when there was talk about a consultation or sort of next steps, which then directs them to my automatic booking page. Okay. This is starting to finally take hold in the landscape industry. I started talking about this solution 6+ years ago, and it really never took off. Usually I find that it takes somewhere between 3 and 5 years for our industry to kind of really start adapting stuff like this. So we're going on 11 years at Halstead. So I've seen like 3 or so of these cycles of things, and it's been so exciting to watch. So the industry is doing a much better job of using these tools, which I think is incredibly impactful for the business. And what happened is that we connected our AI chatbot that we just built to a tool called Acuity. So acuityscheduling.com is a tool that we recommend and use. There are others out there. There's no affiliation with this company or anything, or any tool in here for that matter. Just so you know, it's just a way of actually bringing you a process today that you can use. So Acuity scheduling, if you want to use Calendly or something like that, go for it. Don't care. What we did was connect the two. So GPT books your sales calls directly for you, right? Take control of your schedule means in Acuity, I go in and I say, I only want to take initial consultations on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 12:30 in the afternoon to 3:30. Well, fantastic. You can do that over and over again so that you control your schedule, which is so, so important for growth. It syncs directly with our calendars or the calendars of our sales team, right? Again, depending on the size of your company, maybe you are the salesperson as the owner, or maybe you have a team of 8 or 10 or 20 sales designers. It doesn't matter, it can do it all. It automates the text and the email notifications, which reduces no-shows and late show-ups. It helps the customer feel in control, which is amazing. And then also, it allows customizable intake forms, meaning that you as the salesperson are in control of the information that you need to have for Mrs. Jones before you need it. Okay, so let's take a look at the automated scheduling workflow that we've built for Landscape Pros. This is how it should look. Okay, and how it does for many successful contractors. So on the left, the lead comes into our business, whether it comes from search and SEO or Google Ads, or they saw your wrap truck, or it was a referral or from a social ad, doesn't matter. They come in, all of those things go to your website, which is why your site is ground zero for all of your marketing. Chatbase lives there. Our beautiful new customer service representative lives there and is answering questions and having conversations with our prospects 24/7, 7 days a week. That prospect then pre-qualifies them. I don't know, service areas for your lawn care program. Your customer service chat knows that, right? It can help. Oh, I don't service that area. Sorry, thanks anyway. Not getting a bad lead is just as nice as getting a good lead, honestly. So it's doing all of those pre-qualifications, goes through the sales journey, and schedules a consultation via your book a call page. That then goes via Acuity scheduling directly to your calendar. And then Acuity manages the reminder information, which you can send a series of emails with all kinds of information in there, SMS, sort of text message reviews, all of that stuff. Mind you, all the way through the entire process, not one of your actual human employees has managed this process, and the consumer, if set up properly and fine-tuned, has had an amazing experience, a consistent experience GPT AI powered chatbots do not have bad days. They do not call in sick, and they do not come wanting maybe more money, or they're going to leave for a company down the street. 24/7, 7 days a week. Amazing. Think that that is something that all of you on today's call can benefit from. I really, really hope so and think so. Okay, number 3, we're going to switch gears a little bit now. We're going to head over to the operations department of our company, and we're going to build a brand new internal landscape design assistant. Yes, we've just hired a customer service rep. Now we are going to hire a new design assistant. Okay, it's going to improve our efficiencies. It's going to improve our consistency, and it's going to revolutionize our design process. Okay, so the design team member that we're about to create or hire gets smarter every day because we're fine-tuning them. They're learning, they're retaining everything that we give them, right? They never call out and they never want to raise. Okay. In order to build this tool, we are introducing something a little different. It's called a custom GPT. Okay, so we're going to go in directly to our regular ChatGPT screen. Okay, and we are going to build an absolute game changer. I was on board, okay, with ChatGPT being an amazing new technology. I was following along. I am following along. I was watching the progress of it, understanding how it might impact my business, of course, or businesses and the landscape industry. But when this was released only a few months ago is when I realized the impact was real and was now. So now anybody, including you, can customize their very own GPT. Okay. It allows us, instead of having to be expert level coders with massive deep pockets, we as regular business owners can create our own custom GPT. So we can feed it instructions. We can train it on a specific area of knowledge, aka landscaping. And we can create basically a new employee for us to do very specific tasks that are going to change our business. So remember this. Well, now we are going to basically work directly within ChatGPT. So something called custom GPT. So we've gotten rid of the chat base, and for now we've gotten rid of the website, right? So, okay. So we're going to build, let me move my head out of the way here. We're going to build this GPT design assistant. So just like we trained the chatbot over in Chatbase, we're going to train our new design assistant, this time within ChatGPT, called something a GPT builder. Okay, so here I am, train me. What do you want to make, right? Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to train you to be our new design assistant. It says, I say to GPT, which is incredibly important, what do you want me to give you in order for you to be successful? Okay, just like with our regular employees, we want to set GPT up for success. What do you need? What do you need to know from me in order to turn yourself into this new design assistant, right? Well, Chatty comes back and she says, how about a list of commonly used plants? How about some design guidelines, examples of past projects, all this stuff on the left, right? And that's amazing. So we say your role is to be an internal resource assistant for a landscape design build company. We give the spiel, right? We want you to be knowledgeable about plant material and stone. Your goal is to help assist our company's designers, right? To be a central source of knowledge. Okay, amazing. What I do is I give it this, and you should keep this when you start using ChatGPT. If you don't already have this sort of spiel or this overview of your company and what it does and what it's focused on, you should have this, and that's a separate exercise, but copy that and keep it somewhere for all of your employees to be able to have access to. And all I did up here on the left was just paste it in there, right? So this is what we do: outdoor kitchens, pergolas, shade structures, high-end outdoor living projects. Here are some products that we use. So I uploaded Unilock, TechoBlock. We get all of our fire feature material from HPC Fire. I tell some more information. I set the scene. I'm located in Chagrin Falls, 30-mile service radius from there. And please only suggest plant material, right, from that area. Fantastic. GPT, oh, I also upload the new Unilock catalog right down here. So I say, this is the product we have. So I'm setting GPT up for success, right? It says, thank you for providing this catalog. It gives me the information. I'll fully focus on highlighting the materials and designs that are commonly used. I will now update ChatGPT behavior to include this information. All right, let's see it in action. I even added a little logo up here, which you can do. I named it for this one. I just did that. And this is an actual screenshot from the work that I did for this very talk and that we are doing with a pilot group of clients currently at Halstead Media. I say, I'm designing a perennial. Now I'm a designer in your company, right? This tool is sitting on an iPad or sitting on my desktop or even sitting at a URL on my phone if I'm a field employee, right? I'm designing a perennial garden for a client. They want year-round interest, a clean, modern style. You know my planting zone, right? I'm just reassuring for the purpose of this training. I will need plant list, layout grouping, and I will upload in a minute a preliminary drawing here. So this is a great prompt, right? I'm setting the scene. I'm telling it exactly what I want. I'm giving it some amazing initial information. I'm setting myself up for success. Right? I say, it's by the patio. Here is an initial preliminary drawing. I say, this perennial garden is going to be by the patio over here. Thank you for providing this preliminary drawing, Chatty says. Well, thank you. You're very welcome. Existing conditions with the trees, plant suggestions, layouts, and also I'm only going to give you stuff for Chagrin Falls, Ohio. She reassures that she knows that she answered my question about where they are, right? So I'm speaking to GPT the same way I would one of my new designers that comes in. GPT Chatty kicks back a plant list suggestion. Here's some grasses, some flowering perennials, some ground covers, low plantings, some structural plants, right? Here is a list. So these are predictable results that I, as the owner of a landscape contracting company, can build processes around, right? This is saving time and money in my design process. Let's take it a step further. So we're going to switch gears now, different project, right? Another designer on my team is saying, hey, can you help me? I have a design appointment coming up in a short amount of time, which we never do, right? There's never chaos inside of landscape contracting businesses. And we say, hey, I need this quick. The patio is a 10 by 10 patio. And I'd like a pergola, a small outdoor kitchen, a fire pit. Please include furniture and lighting. I will also need, in addition to the images, a material list. Okay, so the landscape design assistant comes back and she kind of she makes sure that she knows what I want, right? So she says, to create this 10 by 10 patio space with a pergola, kitchen, fire pit, I will generate a detailed visual concept. Here is the description for the image. So it's funny to think about this because most of us in the virtual room today, or those of you watching whenever, we haven't thought about sort of computing power in a while, have we? But this is real. This is real. Like it takes so much computing power. So what OpenAI rather is doing is confirming that they want me to actually expend all of this computing energy. So she says, design a modern 10 by 10 patio space, sleek pergola, integrated lighting, outdoor kitchen, built-in grill, small refrigerator. This is pretty competent, right? Competent designer here. Around the fire pit, we'll have contemporary outdoor seating. We'll use Unilock pavers, providing a clean, modern look. Let's generate the image to capture this vision. I say, you know what, Chatty? That is exactly what I'm after. Thank you very much. Approved. Okay? This is what Chatty generates. Quite an amazing 3D rendering. So I would say amongst the best in the industry that I'm seeing, there are outliers, but this is a really, really useful 3D rendering of a project. Okay. She says, here is the inspirational image for a 10 by 10. Now, mind you, I could have her produce 10 of these, right? So that I can get some inspirational juice flowing with my client. Space features a minimalist pergola, integrated LED lighting, quality pavers. Outdoor kitchen is included with a compact refrigerator, built-in grill, stainless steel appliances, tasteful lighting. This is done as a little footnote. We're going to look at this more in a second, using a tool called DALL-E 3. OpenAI is the company who built ChatGPT. They have also built a couple of other tools that they have released. DALL-E 3 is one of them. We will look at this more in a few minutes, but it is an image-focused AI tool, whereas ChatGPT is text-based, right? So I say, this is fantastic. Really fantastic, right? She says, okay, here's your materials list, gas fire pit with a stainless steel builder, outdoor kitchen with a built-in grill. No crap. Of course, I know that my kitchen is going to have a built-in grill. So here's an example of finding an actual actionable solution, right? I don't know how much this would help, right? Sure, it's going to help. It's going to help. But how is it going to really revolutionize my design process with having sort of very high level information like this? So I say, you know what? Let me fine tune, because if I don't get what I want, I have to fine tune, right? So I say, can you go further on the materials list for me and like give me actual products that I might be able to use? Certainly, she says, so kind and thoughtful Chatty is. She says, let me spec some of the exact products. Mind you, this is where lists from your materials have already been uploaded, right? So plant material lists, stone material lists, your top go-to 30 plant species, your go-to pavers, your go-to walls, your go-to fire pits, and the actual manufacturer's lists that you do has already been fed in, should already be fed in, right? I didn't go that far here, but she's letting me know, like, hey, like any good employee, like, hey, I might need to know some more information in order to deliver what you're after. Mind you, I've already taught her enough in this experiment. So she kicks back this. Okay. So she says, okay, well, the grill is actually a Weber Summit grill. The refrigerator is a Blaze grill. The storage of the cabinetry is New Age. Here is your HPC gas fire pit, because she knows that that's what we use at ABC Landscaping Company. She knows that we use Unilock pavers, so she suggested Artline because I said it was a modern, sleek outdoor space. Brown Jordan furniture, and just like I asked for. She even included some lights, some Kichler low voltage path lights, and some plant material. So folks, in less than 10 minutes of work, I have this from my new Rockstar design assistant. Pretty incredible. I hope that this can revolutionize what you have going on in your company, or that you can see how you might be able to tailor this amazing tool to do so. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit. We're going to go into marketing and sales now. Okay, so here's back to our regular, this time, ChatGPT. I just log into my ChatGPT account, and here I am, right? Now, we are going to create our new sales and marketing team member. We are really hiring at ABC Landscaping today, aren't we? We've hired a customer service rep. We've hired a design assistant. We've hired an admin support for scheduling, and now we're hiring a new marketing and sales team member. Okay? All right. So we're going to just create a chat over here on the left-hand side. So these things on the left side of my screenshot of the UI, these are individual chats that I create. Okay, that's like a conversation, if you will. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm creating this new chat, and I'm going to rename it ABC Marketing and Sales Chat or something, right? So that I can keep it. What you want to do is keep those chats open, because then the information and the training of GPT is retained. Each time you start a new chat, then you start a new conversation, and you have to train them again from the beginning. So I guess in that case, think about it as an employee when you do this, or maybe you'll have specific chats for different things within your business. Okay. Okay. So what I say, okay, here it is. In a minute, I'm going to ask you to write some social media copy for my business. Please tell me what you would like to know in order to produce impactful on-brand copy. That's what I wrote to ChatGPT, right? That is important. Ask what Chatty needs. So she comes back and she says, here are the things that I'm going to need: business background, target audience. Okay, no problem. I go over to my list of my Google Sheet with all of that information already done. I copy and paste, and I put it in, and I've trained my team member as a preliminary step. Okay? There you go. This is what I did. This is that same snippet, right? Design build company. We specialize this. Typical projects start at 65K. We work in neighborhoods with homes in excess of $1 million, right? This is what we do. So we set the scene and provide that information. ChatGPT, your new marketing assistant, is amazing, almost out of the box at creating marketing content generation, right? So blogs, social media posts, landing pages rather, emails, case studies. Absolutely amazing at this. It also, though, can enhance website SEO and get your site found more on the internet, making sure that that content is actually usable, actionable, impactful content, right? Not just some blog post that's like, okay, great. That's pretty cool that ChatGPT can do blog posts. No. Actual impactful stuff. And it improves lead generation and customer engagement through all of those things, right? Through better social copy, better landing pages, all of those goodies. So let's give a social post a try. I say, can you please write a social post explaining how this time, right now in these winter months in the cold weather climates, is the best time to plan and design an upcoming outdoor living project, right? My goal, I want to increase awareness and excitement around my services. So that's a good prompt, very good prompt. Chatty comes back and says, all right, for the platform Instagram, which I could have been more specific about, and I would be. She says, imagine an image of a cozy outdoor living space with winter decor and text overlay. Oddly enough, one of the larger manufacturers of concrete pavers had this type of an image on their homepage all winter long. So Chatty seems to know what she's talking about. She writes, embrace the magic of winter while planning for the warmth of spring. Even throws in some emojis in there. Now is the ideal time to start envisioning your dream outdoor living space. Our winter season offers the perfect opportunity to design, plan, and prepare for those beautiful spring and summer days. Let's turn your outdoor dreams into reality. Contact us today. And she adds some hashtags. Okay. So, okay, pretty great. Pretty good, but I'm not happy. So I'm going to use some fine tuning. So I say, I like this beginning part, but this part at the end where you say, let's turn your outdoor dreams into a reality. Okay, if I hear that one more time, I'm going to be sick. So what else can we do, different from that? I write, it's too cheesy, cliche, and salesy, which I 100% agree with. Okay, so she says, I understand your feedback. Her feelings or his feelings are not hurt here, right? The benefit of this stuff, ChatGPT is just out to do the job. Like you can provide feedback, but whether you do it in the perfect, most PC way doesn't so much matter when you're using your new tool, which is your sales and marketing employee. Okay, here's a revised thing. So embrace the magic of winter. So she changes this bottom part to be reach out for personalized guidance and expert insights. Together, we can create an outdoor oasis you've always dreamed of. I think that fits the bill. I think that's better. Okay. And then I say, okay, actually, though, I forgot. I want to focus on 3D design technology because that's what we really push right now in this time of year. We can allow them to envision, blah, 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 right? So she works that in. I say, I also don't want to increase the overall length of my post. So you can see I'm being very specific with what I want as an output, right? And that is critical. So she rewrites the post to include 3D design tech, paints a vivid picture while we handle it all from start to finish, right? Brings in the personalized guidance again. Amazing. Okay. The other thing here is that these hashtags probably not the best. So what I would do is I would train Chatty on the hashtags that ABC Landscape wants to use, right? Or I would keep a separate sheet of them and input them as we post, whatever we do. So pretty impressive. And imagine that at scale, right? So you're talking about creating an entire month's worth of content in minutes rather than in hours, or at least in hours rather than in many, many hours or days. Okay. Saving time and money. Let's try it again, this time with that amazing tool that we saw a little introduction to in the last one called DALL-E 3. So DALL-E 3 lives on the left side. Again, a tool that lives kind of right within ChatGPT. So once you log in, you can install it. You can see it right here on the left. Great. So I go to ChatGPT, and then I click on DALL-E 3. Fantastic. This time, I'm starting with an image. Why am I starting with an image? Because DALL-E 3 is the image version of ChatGPT. So if you remember, ChatGPT is a language model, DALL-E specializes, it's our more creative friend of ChatGPT, right? Specializes in imagery. Okay, so we upload, we say, I just stole the shot, I forget, off of the internet or something. We did not shoot this shot, full disclosure. Can you write me a social post describing this photo? The reason why I chose this photo is because it's a very good example of what an action photo out in the field that all of us should be shooting weekly would look like. So imagine that you have a bunch of these from your PMs out there, or from your foreman, or if you're a smaller company, maybe you yourself as the owner, whatever it may be, you're shooting these things on your very handy iPhone and you're uploading them in, right? So she says, certainly, upload the photo, and here you go. So I upload the photo. Chatty comes back, or DALL-E, which we'll just call Chatty. Teamwork in action, with some really clever emojis. Today's shout out goes to the hardworking crew transforming our outdoor living spaces one paver at a time. Their dedication to precision and craftsmanship is laying down the foundation for countless family gatherings and serene afternoons. Hats off to these unsung heroes, making sure every detail is perfect. I mean, that is marketing ready, in my opinion. It is better than 99% or 95% or something very, very high that the industry is putting out on a regular basis. I think that is quite amazing. Okay. It truly is the Swiss Army knife of marketing. So blog posts, right? We looked at all the things that it can do. Let's look at blog posts for a second. Don't get too hung up on this, but for my more advanced users, I wanted to include it. Up here on the top, there are versions of ChatGPT. Currently, it defaults to what we call ChatGPT or GPT 3.5. That's what the kind of common thing that we're on is. GPT-4 is out, although it is limited in the amount of time that we can use it as people because of the overwhelming demand in computing power. So you can see it limits to 40 messages in 3 hours. So use it wisely, but it does some cool things, one of which allows you to do uploads. So do you remember when we were doing that custom GPT, we could feed it information like PDFs and stuff like that? Well, GPT allows us to do that. GPT-4 allows us to do that right within the thread, which is quite amazing. So I use it wisely, though, meaning that for the everyday blog post, I can rock on 3.5 in my ABC marketing copy channel, right? No worries. But for this example, I wanted to show you, look, for this blog post, I uploaded a Unilock catalog. I gave it my spiel again, because with GPT-4, again, there are some glitches in new technology. When you do GPT-4, you're in a new chat. So you kind of got to chain it again. That's why I said keep that sheet where you can just copy and paste it, right? So I say, write me a blog post of 600 words, highlighting the top 3 to 5 concrete pavers for outdoor living projects with a modern, sleek design. This is a very real example of something that we would actually write for a client, in particular, dealers and manufacturers of concrete pavers. Okay. I say I'm uploading the Unilock catalog PDF so that you can get the information from it. Chatty says, with pleasure. Here you go. Creating your dream outdoor living space. Again, I need to train maybe to go light on the dreamy, but creating your dream outdoor living space with Unilock's top pavers. She comes back with very good choices, mind you. I don't know how many years in the industry that it would take, but definitely not 1 minute to train a team member on which pavers are good for modern aesthetics. I can promise you that after 25 years in the industry. Beacon Hill Smooth and Umbriano. Excellent modern choices. This is just the first half of the screenshot. The article's longer. And then I say, okay, well, that's great. Again, Swiss Army knife of marketing. I transition into SEO and I say, that's fantastic that I have this cool blog post, but I don't want novel things for my business. I don't want to sit around and be like, that's cool, but I can't use it. So I say, can you SEO the crap out of this article by adding 2 important keywords that's going to help Mrs. Jones find my landscape construction company? Doesn't matter if it's a lawn care company or a pool company or whatever, guys, a commercial maintenance company, doesn't matter. We work with them all and this works for all of them. Okay, she comes back and says, okay, these are the 2 keywords that I would like to use. Elmhurst landscape design, blah, blah, blah. Let me give you a little side note. Some of you might be thinking, why in the world would somebody who owns one of the leading companies for marketing for landscape industry be training landscapers on how to use ChatGPT for your marketing? That seems silly, you might be thinking. Well, I could understand that. The reason why is that at Halstead, our focus is really like $3.5 million and up kind of companies, and the needs of those companies is different, right? The needs of each company at every growth stage is different: 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 5, all different things that you need to continue to grow and fuel your beast. That is your business, or your greatest asset, I should say. So that's one thing, right? But I'm talking, look at this. A company that is sort of on the road to $3 million, right? That doesn't have a large marketing budget, and really has some time maybe to do some of this stuff rather than budget. Look what you can do to improve the quality of this, which is exactly what our new company, Planting Acorns, is doing, which is super exciting. Sort of that road to 3 million. So this is that, right? The other thing is that many of our companies that we do all of their marketing for often take organic social in-house, meaning they do posting on their social accounts in-house. They empower their team to do that. And this is the kind of tools that we want to stay cutting edge to make their lives easier, more efficient, and produce higher quality marketing touch points so that the overall return on their investment of their marketing can increase. Okay, so this is it. This is just fundamental. A lot of this stuff is going to be baked into tools, and it's no secret that we are experimenting with it and doing trials and even doing some test cases with clients. So Chatty comes back. I say, input that. Those are approved. Please input them into the article. She then inputs them in a perfect local SEO fashion, using them in H1 what's called H1 headings. This is good quality basic SEO of an article. Quite amazing, right? Landing pages, emails, ad copy, and on and on and on. The Swiss Army knife, right? I say, please write me a Facebook ad designed to drive consultations for our design and build projects. I need an email for an upcoming email marketing campaign. 300 words of compelling sales and marketing copy for a landing page for a Google Ads campaign. Your new marketing employee is a rock star. Let's switch gears a little bit to sales. With sales, we can create personalized sales material with ease, right? So whether that's brochure copy, things like that, we can capture and use detailed client meeting notes, right? And we can stand out and engage potential clients with tailored messages, meaning that we can see how good Chatty is at creating compelling copy. We can even go in and say, act like a professional copywriter that does X, Y, and Z, produce me this. So the copy, the sales information that it is quite impressive. What we're going to focus on from a sales point is this new workflow that first of all, I use personally, and that is revolutionary. So let's look at this. You head out or get on the phone if it's a pre-qualifying call for a sales and marketing, for a sales call or a meeting. So maybe it's an initial conversation where you're taking a 20-minute call to pre-qualify, or maybe it's an in-person meeting at the house. Doesn't matter. You come out of that and you have a bunch of messy sales notes. If you're like me, they're very messy. I know everything about my prospects, how many kids they have, where they moved from, their biggest challenges, what's standing in the way, what's their current marketing, all the messy details that are so important to closing sales. I have those. What I do is I say, Chatty, here's my brain dump of all my notes. Please clean them up and put them in a usable fashion for my sales team, or for my sales recap, for my team, for my onboarding team, all of that, or put into my CRM so that they're there in a digestible, more professional format. I can then use that reshaped format to make my proposal letter, to make my sales emails all more on point and more professional. So let's take it for a spin. Here are my sales notes from a recent prospect. Please summarize them for me. These are actual sales notes of mine. So this company is $3 million in revenue. It's 20 years in business. Ideal project size of 40 to 400K. Average project currently is 76,000. Onboarding a new salesperson, yada, 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 right? The marketing they're doing now, blah, blah. Everything's captured. So I say, please summarize these. Chatty comes back with a beautifully summarized recap of my first sales call with this new prospect. Headlines, organized information, no detail unaccounted for. Absolutely amazing. Okay. So then I can take that, I put it into my CRM, I put it into my project management solution for my onboarding if the client decides to come on. But not only that, right? Then I go in and we start preparing the proposal for this client. I can use this. In our proposals, we do a introductory letter, like a welcome letter, in which we highlight all of the pain points of the client, what they're doing, basically exploring whether or not we're a good fit for that. And we kind of comprehend, we bring all of that together, right? In personalized yet amazingly detailed communications. That is the power of using ChatGPT in your sales process. Okay, so we're switching on. The sales and marketing employee is just a rock star. He or she is rocking and rolling day in and day out, kicking all kinds of marketing and sales goodies out. All right, let's switch gears a little bit to one of the always highlight or big in demand thing, hiring and training. So for this one, we're going to open regular old ChatGPT, but guess what? We're going to use the marketing channel. Why are we going to use the marketing channel? Because marketing is recruiting and recruiting is marketing, right? We specialize in a thing and believe in a thing, and most of people that are being effective with recruiting are going to something called recruitment marketing. And basically this idea that the two go hand in hand. So why not use one channel for all of our marketing and recruiting? So that's what we decided to do. Job posts are streamlined. So here's like a really if you're just getting started with this whole thing and your mind is like blown by all this stuff, this is a really good gateway to get in there and start using it. Just use it for this, right? So we're going to go in, we're going to input the basics. We say, hey, I need to write a job description for a position we are hiring for. What do you need to know from me? There it is again. What do you need to know from me? She says, I need a job title, some basics, right? Summary, key responsibilities, qualifications, requirements. What she should say here as well is about your company, because marketing is recruiting and recruiting is marketing. So I input the basics, and what happens is that she writes better job descriptions in absolutely less time. And I promise you this, what those job descriptions that are better are not going to have in the first two sentences is must be able to lift 50 pounds. That is not how we entice somebody to come into a role, guys and gals. We want people to be excited about the landscape industry and the amazing technology and every day being different and learning and career opportunities that happen. And a job post that starts with must lift 50 pounds and bust your butt all day long in the hot summer heat is not how we entice people to come in. So as a footnote, please instruct Chatty not to write that. All right. And then, of course, it can continue on. Hiring ads, social posts, offer letters for employees, and all of those amazing things that it can do. So that's kind of the recruiting side as a real tactical example that you can literally launch tomorrow, right? But what about training? Training is a hot topic in the landscape industry because we are so amazingly realizing that what we put into our team is what we get back out. And for the industry that I grew up in for so many years, it was not like that. You either showed up, busted your butt, and learned faster than humanly possible, and you got to stick around and make a little bit of money. And if you didn't do that, then you were booted. We are realizing it as an industry that is not the way to develop talent, thank goodness. So training is becoming very, very important. So for training our team, this one is really exciting. We are in pilots with this right now for ourselves at my company. So we're going to use chatbase.co. Sound familiar? Remember how we trained Chatbase, right? This time, though, we're going to train an AI-powered chatbot, not for a consumer-facing tool, but for our employees, right? So this is going to be a tool that helps our employees get information that they need, okay? So again, depending on the growth stage of your company, if you have 3 employees, maybe this isn't revolutionary for you. If you have 23, 33, 53, 153, then you can imagine the amazingness of this tool. So highly recommend what we call well, not what we call, but what is called trainual.com. This is where all, for us at Halstead, all of our SOPs, standard operating procedures, training documents, policies, that's where all of this stuff lives for us. I highly recommend a tool like this for all landscape contractors. Okay, there's Greenius is out there and gaining some steam. I do not know the tool inside and out, but what we do at Trainual, it allows us to create trainings based on position. We can assign trainings, track who's done trainings, understand not level of knowledge of each individual person in our team, all of those things, right? So it's kind of like an internal Wikipedia, everything about, and then also like our policies, right? Like benefits policies and time off policies, all of those things are also within Trainual. So if you have that kind of a tool already and you've done that, first of all, you're probably in the top 3% of the landscape industry, without a doubt. And you are also set up for success to benefit from this type of thing faster. So you can see that as technology moves quicker and quicker, if you do not have building blocks in place, you get left behind faster and faster. So if you have that stuff, fantastic. If you don't, that's the place to start to get that stuff in action, right? But what we are seeing as exciting, and I would love to hear what you think about this, and if anybody has tried this, I have not heard of anybody that has, outside of the stuff that we're working on at Halstead, but Trainual and Chatbase become connected. Okay. And what does that mean? That means that now all of the information that was in Trainual is now taught. We've trained a chatbot that is employee facing, right? And now employees can search across all kinds of topics into this AI-powered chatbot, right? It encourages self-help, which when we're developing talent and trying to run efficient organizations, for any of you that are doing that at a sizable scale, you understand that providing self-help solutions for employees is critical. It does that really, really well, and it works hand in hand with whatever SOP platform that you have, right? So talk about revolutionizing training from a basic sort of Q&A. Large majority of question and answering can be handled through a tool like this. Okay, like this gentleman here, maybe we should take a moment. It's been a fast burst of revolutionary, hopefully, information for your company. This is a super duper powerful tool. I am not usually often in like an inspirational speaker or motivational speaker. I do not at all identify myself as, but when we think about the internet, and I sound old when I say that, when I think I sound old when I say that, but 87% of shoppers now begin online, right? 92% of customers read an online review before making a purchasing decision. This was not the case for the landscape industry just a few, relatively few short years ago, before the internet completely revolutionized our industry. Customers used to ask their friends and just have to take that word, right? It has completely revolutionized how consumers shop for landscaping services and projects. Folks far smarter than me and more involved in this AI stuff are saying some interesting things if you dig deeper, right? AI is going to be like the internet. It was no big deal, but now it's everywhere, right? Artificial intelligence is the future of customer service, marketing, and advertising. The absolute future, 100% believe that. And then AI will be as commonplace as having a smartphone or using email. It's going to be baked into these tools, but there is a landslide of opportunity because, see, this is just the beginning. On the left side of our slide, we have what's called narrow AI. This is kind of where we are now with this whole stuff, with all of these things. Specialized tasks, right? It's got limited scope of understanding. It's the context is very limited, and there's not much in the way of creativity beyond copywriting, but even then you can kind of see where it's at. I think that we are even pushing past this. I think we're currently kind of in this area of transition on our way to what is already being realized, AGI. So artificial general intelligence. We're already working there. We've already gotten glimpses of this. And basically, this is where these tools become even more human. They become very, very human, right? They have a wide scope of understanding. General intelligence is realized, meaning they can think and communicate exactly like a person. They have contextual understanding, meaning if you say one topic, they can relate topics together. And then it's reached true creativity and innovation in an AI tool. Depending on which expert you look at, this can be coming as soon as 3 years, or maybe more like 10. But if any of you are operating a business, for those of you who are retiring within 3 years, maybe you're off the hook. But for most of us, this means that this is going to be an absolutely critical technology, just like the internet was for us. So even though we're on our way to something even more revolutionary that may take 3 or 10 years to get to, the point is that already small businesses are improving productivity by 40% or more. This is actual small business research currently using the tools and the processes that we looked at today, reducing operational costs by up to 30%. Everything that we looked at today can be implemented and can drive productivity results just like these in the landscape industry. Thank you so very much for joining for this talk. I really appreciate you spending the time here with me when you could have been doing so many other things in your business. If you're interested in learning more about what we do at Halstead, feel free to scan this QR code or visit us at halsteadmedia.com. We are doing some pilot type work with this stuff, but our core business is certainly digital marketing for the landscape industry. Or if you just want to reach out and say hi to me and have a conversation about any of this stuff, that's awesome as well. Thank you so very much. All the best.